Here's what $3,830 gets you in Fukuoka, Japan. Today we're looking at a luxury 4-bedroom unit. It is situated on the top floor of the building and the entire floor is yours. And because of this, you essentially have balcony access on every side of your apartment. In Japanese for this unit, we wouldn't actually use apartment, we would say mansion, which comes from the English mansion, which comes from the French word, which can be very confusing for people because they hear mansion and they might think of luxury homes like something Will Smith might live in. But from my understanding, the Japanese usage is actually closer to the French meaning than the English. I've been told mansion in French actually just means like home or residence. If you're a French speaker, let me know. In Japan, we also use the term apartment, apato, but this is more delegated to cheaper apartments. But whatever you choose to call this unit, it's beautiful in here, and it's quite a bit expensive. It's so fancy your sink's even electronic. If I can get it to turn on, there we go. Definitely the first time I've ever seen a sink like that. And this kitchen is huge compared to what you would normally see in a Japanese apartment. I mean, look at all this counter space. You can actually do some serious cooking in here. Very nice 3-burner stove. We have our little fish grill. That's pretty standard. And of course, we have an exhaust fan. We got a little pantry area. There's a separate pantry room, which I'll show you shortly, and it's impressive. We have a little sliding door to separate the washing machine. This door leads out to the balcony, which we'll look at the balcony a little later too. The location of this apartment is also very good. You're in between Nishi Park and Ohori Park. Undoubtedly, these two parks are some of the best parks you can find in this city. Walking around the neighborhood and just hanging out in here, I was very impressed at how quiet it was. You see, we have some balcony access. It all is a bit sectioned off, but a little later I'll walk out there and show you the view of Fukuoka Tower from here. Alright, here's the pantry. I mean, Lord Almighty, look how big this is. Again, for a Japanese home, this is like completely out the norm. Like I said, if you're into cooking, you can store all your ingredients, you can have everything you need in here. So on top of having 4 bedrooms, this unit also has 2 bathrooms and a little cubby area, which you can see up there. We'll get up there in a minute. Definitely this is great if you have a family, because then you do have the space for it. And you have plenty of storage. I mean, you have another closet right here. For Fukuoka City, this is definitely one of the more expensive units you can find. This unit is the monthly rent of $3,830 a month. And if we're talking in yen, it's going to cost you 60 man. In other words, 600,000 yen a month. If you're serious about renting and living in Japan, one of the terms you're going to want to learn is man-en. Man is the counter unit for 10,000. And in Japanese, we actually don't say yen, we say en. And of course, just learning Japanese itself is definitely going to make your life much easier here. I think personally, if I was just living in this unit, this upper loft area, I would turn into a listening lounge or maybe a little library. Look at this beautiful natural lighting coming in here too. I used to live in Seattle, so personally, having so much natural lighting is a huge selling point. Here we have the first and smallest of the 4 bedrooms. There's only 1 bedroom on this side of the house, and the other side have the other 3. So let's go out on the balcony. So this direction of the house, this is facing Ohori Park, and behind me is Nishi Park, but to our right is where we can see Fukuoka Tower. Now you're going to want to wait till I go to the other side of the house to see the best view of the tower, but you can see a little bit from here. If you come visit Fukuoka, one thing you may notice is that we absolutely do not have tall buildings. Whereas if you're coming from Tokyo or Osaka, you've probably gotten used to seeing huge buildings. Because we have an airport so close to the city, we have height regulations. I know some people love skyscrapers, but I personally prefer not having them. Okay, over here, this is pretty cool. I don't see this too often in homes, but they have all the pictures from the remodel. So this unit is newly remodeled and they have what it looked like before and through all the process. And I mean, they really gutted everything and updated it all. This is definitely a little cool thing they added. It's a lot of hard work and yeah, not so fun at times. I've done a remodel or two in my life, and it is dirty work. But yeah, pretty cool to see the behind the scenes on things. Alright, let's go look at the rest of the bedrooms, and let's also look at the bathrooms. So this unit has like 2 smaller rooms and then 2 main rooms, I suppose, because they're almost equal size. Here's the first of the bigger rooms, and both of the bigger rooms have the best views of Fukuoka Tower. You'll see what I mean. Absolutely gorgeous outside today. You can see Fukuoka Tower. There's a temple over there. Really, this unit is just in prime location. And of course, this being Japan, there's convenience stores and grocery stores in walking distance. Also, I should mention this apartment does have parking spaces. Generally, parking spots don't come free in Japan at apartments or wherever you're living. You have to rent them separately. So a parking spot here is going to cost you about an additional $130. I walked through the garage and let's just say there's a lot of Porsche fans here. If you've rented in Japan before, you know it can be a little pricey to move in. So let's talk about some additional fees. So your security deposit is going to be 1 month rent, and that's pretty standard for wherever you move in. But the next expense can be quite shocking for definitely people moving from America. I don't have any other country perspective, so I can't tell you if it's a norm in your country or not. But we have a thing called reikin, which literally translates to gratitude money, which people often call gift money. And it's just money you give to the landlord to live here. Unlike your deposit, which you get back, afterwards if you don't trash the place, gift money is gift money. You do not get it back. It is a slowly dying practice. A lot of places I visit do not have gift money anymore, but there are still places that have them, and this place is one of them. To move in here, you have to pay 2 months of gift money. Normally, you will see 1 month, but these fancier places will have 2 or 3 months worth you have to give. But before I get back to that, look, this bathroom has a TV. This is a super nice bath. And if you've seen my other videos, you know now that Japanese bathrooms are almost always wet rooms. The entire bathtub area can get wet, and almost always your bathtub and toilet are separate. Japan, they believe that where you're getting clean should be separate from where you're getting dirty. Anyways, back to the fees. So, our monthly rent here is $3,830. And you have to multiply that 3 times because security deposit and then 2 months gift money. So that alone is almost $12,000 to move in. And then you'll probably pay 1 month a fee to your real estate agent. Almost always when you're renting or buying in Japan, you'll go through a real estate agent. Not always, but it's the norm. So they have a fee. It's usually 1 month's rent. So really, in total to move into this place, it's about $15,000. And again, every place is different. Not all apartments are going to have the same fees. But, something to keep in mind, wherever you move in Japan, you should expect to pay 3 to 5 times the amount of rent when first moving in. My first apartment, I didn't have any gift money, so I just paid first, last, and security deposit. And when I moved, I got my security deposit back. So really, it is a case-by-case basis. And like I said, this is a luxury apartment, so you're probably pulling in the big bucks here in Japan if you're going to move in. And another thing about renting in Japan is that you're going to have to be on the proper visa. You are not going to really be able to rent any of these places being on a tourist visa. Even on a working holiday visa, it can be a little bit difficult to rent because, working holiday visas are usually 1 year. And standard lease contracts here in Japan is about 2 years. So I'm going to get ready to wrap up this video, but I will show you what the outside looks like. But I hope you found this information useful about living in Japan and, some basics about renting. This unit is very beautiful. It's a luxury unit. It is not the norm here. Paying $3,800, if you're living in the United States, might not seem the craziest, but here in Japan, it's pretty expensive. So the area I was just standing in is called the Genkan. It's where you take your shoes off, but Here we have our first door we have to go through. But yeah, this whole floor is yours, this whole outside area. So when you take the elevator to the top floor, it's just your apartment. There's Nishi Park, but look at this beautiful view. What'd you think? Would you live here?